Okay, I need to get this off my chest because everyone's making me out to be the bad guy here. And honestly, I'm so over it. I'm Karen, 32, and up until like 2 weeks ago, I thought I had everything figured out. You know that saying about how success shows people's true colors? Well, apparently it shows your husband's too. So here's the thing. I've been climbing the corporate ladder at Reynolds and Blake Financial for the past 6 years, absolutely crushing it. Started as a junior analyst, and now, senior operations director. Baby. I'm talking corner office, team of 15 under me, the whole package. Meanwhile, my husband Tyson, well, soon-to-be ex-husband, I guess, he's been doing his mechanic thing at his little garage downtown. Like, that's cute and all, but we're not in high school anymore. Don't get me wrong, I used to think it was kind of hot when we first met, him all rough around the edges with his work jeans and that confident smile. He was so sure of himself back then, always talking about how he was going to own his own shop someday. But 7 years later, still just fixing other people's cars while I'm out here making actual moves. I tried to help him level up, you know? Sent him job listings for corporate positions, suggested he take some business classes. I was making triple his salary even before this promotion. But he'd just get all quiet and say stuff like, I'm good at what I do, and not everyone needs a corner office to be happy. Whatever that means, my girls totally get it. Like Ashley said at brunch last weekend, why should I dim my shine just because he's comfortable being basic? And yeah, maybe I started pointing it out more at parties and gatherings, but I was just being honest. Like that time at Kenzie's housewarming when someone asked what Tyson did, and I was like, oh, he keeps things simple, just basic car stuff while I handle the actual bills. Everyone laughed. Well, except Tyson, but he never really got my sense of humor anyway. The funny thing is, I actually thought we had a good thing going. I was the breadwinner, sure, but I let him handle his little garage job because it made him happy or whatever. I even bragged to my friends about how secure he was with a successful wife. Most guys would be threatened, but Tyson just kept doing his thing while I was out there growing my empire. Last month, when I landed this massive promotion, I thought he'd finally see what real success looks like. I came home with a bottle of champagne, all excited to celebrate, and what's he doing? Working on some old car in our garage, covered in grease. I was like, babe, we can afford to take that to a real shop now. He just went inside without saying anything. So dramatic, I started noticing him getting more distant after that. Like, he'd barely react when I'd tease him about his cute little repair shop in front of our friends. Even when I joked about how my quarterly bonus was more than his annual salary at Mackenzie's dinner party, he just sat there with this weird look on his face. Everyone else was laughing. It's not my fault he couldn't take a joke. Looking back, I guess there were signs that he was being kind of a baby about everything. He stopped coming to my work events, said he didn't feel comfortable there. As if my coworkers cared that he was just a mechanic. I always told them he was finding himself or exploring his passion. I was trying to help him save face. But no, apparently that wasn't good enough for him. The weirdest part? Some of our friends actually started acting strange when I'd bring up the income thing. Like even Ashley, who's always been Team Karen, got all quiet last week when I was talking about how I basically funded our whole life while Tyson played with cars. She was like, girl, maybe you should ease up on him? Excuse me? Since when is honesty a bad thing? I'm just out here living my best life and being real about it. God, and now, everyone's acting like I'm some kind of villain, just because I didn't sugarcoat things. Like, sorry, I'm not gonna pretend my husband's job is something it's not. Sorry I'm successful and not afraid to show it. Tyson knew who I was when he married me, a boss babe who tells it like it is. If he couldn't handle that, maybe he should have worked harder to keep up. But whatever. Let me tell you about the night everything exploded. Because apparently I'm the only one who sees how ridiculous this whole situation is. So my company was throwing this massive party at the Grand Hotel downtown to celebrate our Q4 wins. We're talking open bar, live band, the works. I'd just closed this insane deal that basically saved our entire fiscal year, so obviously I was going to be one of the stars of the show. I actually had to convince Tyson to come. He was being all weird about it. saying he had work commitments or whatever. Like, fixing Mrs. Johnson's minivan was more important than supporting his wife's success? Please. I literally had to remind him that it would look bad if my own husband didn't show up to celebrate my moment. He finally agreed, but was acting all quiet while we were getting ready. I picked out this gorgeous red dress that cost more than his weekly paycheck. Not that I mentioned that much, and I kept catching him giving me these weird looks in the mirror. I was like, "What? Can't handle how hot your sugar mama looks." He just went downstairs to wait in the car. The party was absolutely perfect at first. Everyone was coming up to congratulate me, the champagne was flowing, and I was basically holding court with all the executives. Tyson just kind of hovered near the bar, barely talking to anyone. God forbid he try to network or make connections, right? My boss Derek even tried to include him, asking about his work, and Tyson just gave these super basic answers about transmission repairs and oil changes. I had to jump in and laugh it off like, "Oh, you'll have to excuse him. He's not used to being around actual business people." Things really went sideways during the dinner portion. I was sitting with all the senior management team, totally in my element, when Derek's wife Victoria asked Tyson about his career goals. Before he could start in with his usual, "I like what I do" speech, I just couldn't help myself. I was like, "Oh honey, Tyson's goals involve fixing mufflers and hoping gas prices don't go up." Everyone at the table laughed, and I was on a roll. I mean, someone's got to change the oil for all us corporate types, right? I winked at Tyson, but he just sat there with this weird look on his face. "Babe, don't be so serious. Everyone knows you're living the dream while I bring home the actual bacon." More laughter. I was killing it, but then Tyson did something he's never done before. He stood up, right in the middle of my story, about how he still drives the same old truck from when we met because he believes in fixing things instead of upgrading. He didn't say a word, just put his napkin on the table and walked out. Like, who does that? I played it off, obviously. Made some joke about how he probably had a timing belt emergency to handle. But inside I was fuming. How dare he make a scene at my party? Everyone was being so nice, including him in the conversation, and he had to go and be all sensitive about it. I stayed for another hour, networked like a boss, but people kept asking where Tyson went. As if his little dramatic exit was somehow more important than my professional achievement, I had to keep explaining that he wasn't feeling well while doing damage control with Derek and Victoria. They were being weird about it too, giving me these looks like I'd done something wrong. When I finally got home, Tyson's truck was gone. I figured he'd gone to blow off steam at his buddy's place or whatever. Fine by me. I didn't need his negativity ruining my buzz anyway. I posted some amazing pics from the night on Instagram with this caption about celebrating success with people who matter. Totally crushed it with the likes. Looking back, maybe I could have toned it down a tiny bit with the mechanic jokes. But come on. If he was really that bothered by it, he could have said something instead of just storming out like a child. And now everyone's acting like I committed some horrible crime just because I stated facts about our situation? Give me a break. I didn't hear from Tyson all weekend after the party, but whatever, I figured he was doing his usual sulking thing. But Monday morning, that's when things got weird. I woke up early for my workout class with Ashley, and I noticed his side of the closet was completely empty, like everything gone. His tools in the garage? Gone. Even his dumb collection of car magazines from the basement, all of it, just gone. At first, I thought he was trying to teach me some kind of lesson. Real mature, right? I texted him like, "Hope you're done with your little tantrum. Dinner at 7?" No response. Called him, straight to voicemail. I even drove by his garage during lunch, but his buddy Travis just said Tyson wasn't available and basically shut the door in my face. Rude much? I tried to play it cool at work, but by Wednesday, people were starting to talk. Apparently, Tyson had posted this super vague thing on Facebook about knowing your worth or whatever. So dramatic. I commented with a bunch of heart emojis and this cute little "miss you babe, come home soon" message to show everyone how mature I was being about his little meltdown. He deleted it within like 5 minutes. That's when Ashley started acting weird too. We were at our usual Thursday happy hour, and I was explaining how Tyson was obviously just jealous of my success when she got all serious. She was like, "B, I love you, but maybe you should think about how you've been treating him." Excuse me? I mean, you kind of humiliate him every chance you get. Seriously? To Ashley? I tried to explain that it was just playful teasing, that Tyson was being oversensitive, but she wasn't having it. She actually brought up stuff from months ago, like that time at her pool party where I joked about having to support my trophy husband, or when I tagged him in that meme about marrying rich but accidentally getting poor. They were jokes. Everyone laughed. By the end of week 2, I was getting seriously annoyed. I posted this whole thing on Instagram about how some men just can't handle a strong, successful woman, and tagged all our mutual friends. You know, really taking the high road. But instead of people showing support, the comments were super weird. Like, people were actually defending him? Even Victoria from the party messaged me privately suggesting I reflect on my behavior, as if she knows anything about our marriage. I finally got Tyson on the phone last Friday, and honestly, he had the nerve to sound completely calm while I was clearly distressed. I was like, "Really? You're gonna blow up our whole marriage because you can't take a few harmless jokes?" And he just said all quiet like, "They stopped being jokes a long time ago, Karen." Then he hit me with how he's already talking to a lawyer, and he's done being my punchline. Done being my punchline? I literally made him relevant in our social circle. The worst part? I got coffee with Kenzie yesterday to vent about all this, and she actually sided with him. Apparently, everyone had noticed how mean I'd gotten about his job. She said people felt uncomfortable every time I brought up money or made comments about him being a mechanic. Like, since when is stating facts being mean? And if it bothered him so much, why didn't he just say something instead of bottling it up and then having this massive overreaction? I tried to smooth things over by posting this heartfelt apology on Facebook, really taking the high road. I wrote about how if my jokes hurt his feelings, that wasn't my intention, and how I've always supported his choice to remain in a blue-collar profession while I advanced my career. Super sincere, right? Tyson blocked me an hour later, and 3 of his cousins commented about how I was still missing the point. Now everyone's acting like I'm the villain in this situation, just because I was honest about our dynamic. Like, sorry, I'm not going to pretend we were equals in terms of success and ambition. Sorry, I didn't coddle his ego by acting like fixing cars is the same as closing million-dollar deals. If anything, he should have appreciated having a wife successful enough that he could stay in his comfort zone instead of having to challenge himself. Then yesterday happened, and I'm still trying to process it. I was at Whole Foods, just minding my own business in the wine aisle, when I ran into Tyson's mom, Susan. I always thought we had a good relationship. I mean, I bought her really nice Christmas presents every year and everything. But the look she gave me? If looks could kill. I tried to be the bigger person. Walked right up with my best smile and was like, "Susan, I've been meaning to call you." That's when she dropped the bomb that completely flipped my world upside down. Turns out my simple mechanic husband had been paying her medical bills for the past 3 years, like thousands of dollars for her cancer treatments. Behind my back. I stood there with my overpriced rosé like an idiot while Susan told me how Tyson worked extra hours and saved every penny to help her, never telling anyone because he didn't want to burden the family. She said he'd even sold his project car, the one he'd been restoring for years, when she needed an experimental treatment insurance wouldn't cover. And get this, he did it all without touching our joint account because he knew I'd make it about money. But here's the thing that really got me. Apparently, everyone at his garage knew. They'd been covering for him when he took extra jobs, helping him with side projects to raise more money. Even Travis, who could barely look at me that day I stopped by, had been working late with Tyson for months to help him make extra cash for his mom's care. I tried calling Tyson right after, feeling like maybe I'd judged him too harshly. But instead of picking up, he sent me this text that just said, "Ask your friends about the graduation fund." So I did. Called Kenzie because she's the worst at keeping secrets. That's when I found out Tyson had been quietly setting aside money for his younger sister's college tuition too. The sister I always complained about for not having ambition because she wanted to be a teacher. The hits kept coming. Remember that time I got mad because he wouldn't split the cost of my designer purse? He was paying for one of his elderly customers' medications that month. That weekend I threw a fit because he wouldn't take me to the Bahamas. He was covering his mom's radiation copays. Every time I bragged about carrying our finances, he was silently taking care of his whole family. I tried to spin it on social media, posting this whole thing about discovering new depths to our relationship and how money isn't everything. You know what happened? His sister commented. First time she's acknowledged me since he left. Just to say, delete this. And then she blocked me. Couldn't even defend myself. The worst part? I found out he's been teaching night classes at the trade school for the past year. Not just fixing cars, but actually training the next generation of mechanics. His students apparently love him, call him the best instructor they've ever had. Meanwhile, I've been telling everyone who would listen that he lacks ambition. I thought about going to his garage again, maybe trying to talk things out now that I understand more. But Ashley, who's apparently still in contact with him, told me not to bother. Said he's different now, more confident. Said he finally realized he doesn't have to feel small just because I need to feel big. Everyone keeps telling me I should have seen the signs. Like how he never corrected me when I took credit for our lifestyle, even though he was working 60-hour weeks between the garage and his extra jobs. Or how he never complained when I bought expensive things for myself, but criticized his wasteful donations to his mom's church fundraisers. God, I actually told people he was bad with money because he wouldn't invest in my friend's pyramid scheme. Meanwhile, he was basically running a one-man charity. And now everything's falling apart. Remember that huge promotion I was so proud of? Yeah. Well, turns out success really does show people's true colors. After Tyson left, I guess I got a little distracted. Started coming in late, missing deadlines, spending too much time defending myself on social media. I thought my position was secure. I mean, I'm the one who landed the Anderson account, right? Wrong. Derek called me into his office yesterday, and guess what? They're going in a different direction with the leadership team. Apparently, my recent behavior doesn't align with company values. Victoria must have told him about all those things I said about Tyson at the party, because Derek actually had the nerve to mention professional courtesy and respect for all career paths. Like, seriously? I'm losing my corner office because I hurt a mechanic's feelings? But here's the real kicker. You know what I found out through the office grapevine? Tyson's little garage just expanded. He bought out the auto shop across town, the really big one near the highway. All those extra hours, all that time I thought he was just avoiding my success. He was building his own empire, piece by piece. And everyone knew except me. I only found out because I overheard Derek's assistant talking about taking her car there. Apparently, Tyson's place is now the spot for luxury car maintenance in town. He's got contracts with all the high-end dealerships, a waiting list for his custom work, and get this, he's hiring. Creating actual jobs while I'm about to lose mine. The irony is just, I can't even. I tried to save face at work, telling everyone I was exploring new opportunities anyway. Then Ashley, who's apparently Team Tyson now, just had to mention at happy hour that she'd driven by his new place. Said the parking lot was full of BMWs and Mercedes. Said he's got this whole crew of mechanics he's trained himself, all wearing matching uniforms with his logo. His logo. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there in last season's Gucci trying to stretch my savings because turns out living alone in a luxury apartment isn't so easy on a reduced salary. The worst part? Everyone's acting like he's some kind of hero. Like, my own assistant, who I thought was my friend, is now taking her car to his shop. Said he gave her a friends and family discount, even though I'm technically his soon-to-be ex. She came back gushing about how he's got this whole mentorship program for kids from the trade school, teaching them business skills along with auto repair. Apparently he's changing lives. Meanwhile, I'm the villain because I wanted him to aim higher. I tried to reach out to him again, to clear the air. Sent this whole email about how I'm proud of his success and how I always knew he had it in him. His response? No, you didn't. That's the problem. Then he forwarded me the divorce papers. Just like that. No drama, no fighting over assets, he doesn't even want the house. Said I could keep it since my image is so important. As if he's doing me some kind of favor. And social media? Don't even get me started. Everyone's sharing these posts about his expansion, tagging him in small business success stories. There's this whole article in the local business journal about innovation in automotive services, featuring him and his new training program. The photos show him in this crisp button-down with his name embroidered on it, standing in front of this massive, spotless garage. He's smiling, actually smiling, in a way I haven't seen in years. Someone tagged me in the comments, asking if I'd seen how well Tyson's doing. Had to delete my Facebook app just to stop the notifications. Instagram's even worse. His garage's page has more followers than me now. Like, when did everyone become so invested in auto repair? It's just cars. But apparently, I'm not allowed to say that anymore without someone bringing up skilled trades and entrepreneurial spirit. So here I am, sitting in my too big house that I can barely afford now, writing this out because my therapist, yes, I actually got one after Ashley wouldn't stop suggesting it, says I need to process my journey. Journey to what? Being the bad guy in my own life story? I mean, I get it, kind of. Maybe I wasn't the most supportive wife. Maybe I did take him for granted. But does everyone have to be so dramatic about it? Last week, I had to move out of my dream house. Turns out a single income doesn't stretch as far as I thought, especially since my new position at a smaller firm pays way less than my old one. The real estate agent who helped me find my new apartment actually had the nerve to mention she'd just sold a beautiful house to Tyson. Said it was in that fancy new development by the lake. You know, the one I always wanted to live in. Apparently he paid cash. Must be nice. I drove by his new shop yesterday. Totally by accident, I swear. The parking lot was full, and there was this giant now hiring banner out front, advertising competitive salaries and full benefits. Through the windows, I could see him working with some young guy, pointing at an engine like he was explaining something. He looked happy, relaxed, like the Tyson I first met, before I started trying to improve him. The divorce papers came through this morning. Tyson's lawyer was annoyingly professional about everything. No drama at all. He didn't fight me for anything from our old life, said he'd already moved on to better things. The only thing he wanted was for me to stop telling people he couldn't handle my success. His lawyer actually included screenshots of my social media posts as evidence of harassment. Like, documenting my feelings is harassment now? Speaking of social media, I had to turn off my notifications completely. Every time I post anything about growing from experience or learning life lessons, someone just has to comment about how I'm still not getting it. Even my mom, my own mother, told me I need to stop playing the victim. She's going to Tyson's shop now, too, if you can believe it. Says he gives better service than the dealership and actually respects his customers. The final straw? I heard through the grapevine that Tyson's dating someone new. Some architect who specializes in sustainable building design, or whatever. Ashley saw them at that fancy new farm-to-table place downtown. The one I always wanted him to take me to, but he said was overpriced. Guess it's not too overpriced for his new life. She said they looked really happy, really comfortable together. Said they were talking about collaborating on his next expansion project. Because apparently he's expanding again. I tried one last time to reach out, sent him this long message about how I've grown and learned from this experience. About how maybe we could start fresh now that we're both successful. You know what he sent back? Success isn't what you think it is, Karen. Never was. Then he blocked my number. Real mature. Everyone keeps saying I need to take accountability and really look at my behavior. But you know what? I'm not the one who threw away a 7-year marriage just because I made a few jokes. I'm not the one who was secretly building a whole other life while pretending to be content with basic cars and garage work. I'm not the one who turned all our friends against their friend's wife just because she wanted more for him. So yeah, maybe I messed up. Maybe I should have appreciated what I had instead of constantly pushing for more. Maybe I shouldn't have made those jokes at parties or posted those things online. But at least I'm honest about who I am. At least I didn't pretend to be something I'm not. And if people want to paint me as the villain in this story just because I wanted my husband to be as ambitious as me, well, that says more about them than it does about me. I just hope he's happy with his precious garage empire and his sustainable architect girlfriend and his lake house and all our friends who apparently prefer reliable car service to loyalty. Meanwhile, I'll be here in my overpriced apartment, drinking wine I can barely afford, wondering when exactly my perfect life turned into everyone's favorite cautionary tale.